What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the stream. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat or not. I think my mic is working. I just want to make sure. Close this out real quick. Stupid timer. Okay, let's see what's going on. We have 4 people watching so far. What's up, Proud and Real? Thanks for being first, man. Appreciate you being here. Global Photographer, of course, is always here. Jamie, you have a mini big brain. Nice, man. It's better than a mini small brain. And Global Photographer says just over 3% supply increase for Mark today due to the VIX. Yeah, I saw that. So we can pull that up real quick to talk about. It's a good talking point. Not CoinGecko. The CoinGecko API data on Mark is incorrect. So let's just search up Mark right here. So guys, everyone who's tuning into the stream, at 9 p.m. we'll start the podcast with Ceazor. So he's going to hop on and we're going to talk about Binance Smart Chain projects and a whole lot more. So it should be pretty interesting. First time I've kind of done like a podcast, so we'll see how it goes, but I think it will be good. Ceazor is someone I've been following for a bit. He's a newer YouTuber in crypto, but he's really focused on yield farming on the Binance Smart Chain. So I think he's a great person to have on. Okay, cool. Mic is working. Oh, wow. Hey, Global Photographer, did you get that notification? Look what just popped up on my Telegram, actually. So XMark token has successfully bridged to Solana through Wormhole. It's almost every single day that Benchmark protocol is bridging to a new chain. Very impressive by the team that they've been able to do this. And I think with Solana, especially with people like FTX or Sam Almeida, the guy who founded FTX, he's very bullish on Solana. And there is the Radium DEX that's being built on Solana. And Solana in general, the TPS, the transactions per second, I believe is like 100,000 or something. It's ridiculously fast and scalable. So great news again from Benchmark. They're really making a lot of developments very fast. Let's close that out. But yeah, so today we had a positive rebase, which is weird because we are below peg. So the peg is 1.4, meaning we should have had a negative rebase. But because of the VIX, and we can pull up the VIX real quick. Let me just pull this up. If we look at the VIX, we can see there is a pretty significant spike today. Yeah. 35% spike in one day. So the largest spike we've had in a while. So that's indicating volatility of the Chicago Board of Exchange options. So I'd say options trading exchange. So in the case of those, there's a lot of volatility coming to the market, hence why they did a positive rebase to get more tokens into the supply for more liquidity. What's up, Craig? How's it going? Hey, lunchtime and Ozzy. Good day, Max and all. Thanks for tuning in, man. We're just getting started. So now that we kind of went over some of the benchmark stuff, let's take a look at a few things I've been wanting to talk about. I made a video that'll be out tomorrow. I'll talk about this first on Saffron Finance. So one of the things that's kind of holding DeFi back, in my opinion, is just security, or what you could call user trust. You know, it's very complicated to people who are not familiar with it and very new. And there's insurance protocols, and then what we saw with Cover, insurance protocols getting hacked, which is extremely ironic. You know, if you're an insurance protocol and you get hacked, that's the last thing you ever want to happen. But what Saffron has done is they've incorporated their own insurance built into the platform. So we can take a look at that. Let me just launch the app real quick. Launch app. So if we go to the dashboard for Saffron, let me connect my MetaMask. Biden bombed a base in Syria, apparently. Don't have all details would sway the market. Sorry to interrupt. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up. No worries, you guys. You're free to comment anything you like, but we can take a look at that. And yes, that could affect the market. It depends on what the bombing was, what exactly happened. But any acts of war or things like that, which create instability, can create fear in the market. So, and yeah, I have noticed that there's been a bit more military involvement now that Biden has taken office, at least in the Middle East, because Trump, there was less, it seemed. Like 3 minutes ago. Yeah, we can look it up real quick, but let me talk about Ceazor first because this is a crypto channel. But we can see here if we go to the liquidity pools, go to deposit die, they have different tranches. So what this means, I kind of explained it, and I had this chart that I made that I shared in the Telegram group to one of the members because he was confused on how it works. But the AA tranche is basically yield farming that's collateralized. So if something were to happen to the yield farming scenario, if there was a flash loan attack or something like that, it will be covered by the A tranche. The A tranche earns most interest, but if there is coverage that's needed, your portion or what you've deposited into the A tranche can be liquidated. So it is more risky, but you can earn a much higher APY. So basically what happens is the A tranche, the liquidity that's deposited into there, gets sent to Compound, and then it's lended. So it's like a yield farming strategy, and it earns APY or interest. A good portion of that is sent to the A tranche, so hence why it earns the highest interest. So this one earns the least, but it's secured. So it's kind of like with any investment. The riskier it is, the higher the return is. And then the S tranche moves liquidity to other tranches where it is needed. Defensive stocks have not gotten a bump, but maybe it means everyone is getting liquidity. Yeah, let's take a look at what's going on. So it was in retaliation. So yeah, I don't think this will affect the market too much. I'm not an expert on what's going on in the Middle East. It's been going on for so long now, and nothing good ever comes out of it. So it's just a huge mess, in my opinion. But it doesn't seem like it's too bad. But if this could indicate an increase in violence coming, so that could affect the markets negatively. But I wouldn't worry too much about this in terms of your holdings. And you can look at defensive stocks such as Boeing. Yeah, Boeing's not doing not doing well today. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. But okay, let's get back on topic. Obviously, this is not a defense stock or war news coverage channel. So yeah, with Saffron, I find that interesting. I think with a lot of these DeFi platforms, the more security they have, the more likely it is that they will get kind of that institutional investment that can really change everything, such as what Bitcoin has had. Thank you, trustee abductee. I appreciate it. So one thing I wanted to talk about was Delta Financial. I've seen a lot of people talking about this on Twitter and whatnot. So Delta is a new platform, and this is kind of like the pre-sale. So if you guys are interested in getting into pre-sales, this is a 7-day pre-sale where you deposit ETH. So Delta's liquidity staking window is ongoing. Early participants can get a 30 months. Make sure to check out your referral program to maximize your rewards. So you deposit your ETH in here, and we can see the contribution is pretty crazy. They almost have 5,000 ETH, which is I think like $8 million. And this is a part of the core system or the core blockchain, or not blockchain, but the core DApp. Delta is using a special event called limited staking window to launch its tokens. The limited staking window allows participants to stake Ethereum and receive RLP tokens in return at the end of the limited staking window. So you'll get your tokens on March 4th. The window will remain open for 10 days, rewarding early stakers with a bonus of up to 30%. So you deposit your ETH, you get the RLP. Once the limited staking window closes, participants can claim RLP tokens and stake them in the deep farming vault to earn yield. The Delta token will launch an Uniswap and become tradable when the first liquidity rebases will increase the minting price of the RLP by 150%. So basically, you're getting this LP, and they'll actually be rebases based off the LP. I don't quite understand how that works completely. But by getting in early, you get this bonus, as well as the price of minting RLP will increase by 150% that they estimate. So this is really interesting. I haven't contributed any ETH yet, but I'm thinking about it. Like every day, I've been looking at this and considering it, kind of reading more up on it. It is built into Core. If we look at Core did pretty well. So, and they are kind of tackling the issues with options, because the main issues with options in DeFi or crypto is the liquidity. Options require a lot of liquidity to be functional, and Delta is trying to conquer that. So we see here information between option markets and underlying assets take longer to be reflected due to the relatively illiquid side of options. That totally relates to the VIX and what's going on with benchmark right now with their positive rebase. Trading compared to spot markets, and additional challenge is the lack of liquidity, causing an increase of premiums in option price. So if there's illiquid options, the premiums are going to be very expensive. That's why options haven't taken off on Ethereum. Well, one is gas costs are ridiculous, but you don't want to pay extremely high premiums for options. At that point, you might as well use a centralized exchange like Binance and just margin trade. But they're basically tackling this issue. I don't really understand how exactly they're doing it, but once I read more on this, I'm going to make a video on it and let you guys know if I'm going to be staking in the window. And there is a referral code too, so I think both people get like a 10% bonus, which you see right here. Refer your friend and receive 5% bonus in credit and 5% in ETH. Your referral will get a 10% bonus to their initial contribution. So yeah, I can generate a referral link. That's pretty cool. Let's go to connect. Okay, I see. So I have to contribute first, and I'll get my referral link. I'm going to cost some gas to do so as well. But anyways, I think Delta is pretty interesting. Let me know, guys, in the comment section if you guys have any coins you'd like me to cover. This is another one that I thought you guys might find is cool. I haven't invested in it. I talked to the team a little bit in their Telegram chat, and it seems like an interesting concept, but the problem with Blackfish, BLFI, which I'll explain in a little bit, is that I don't know if their revenue model is better than traditional yield farming. With yield farms, you have more stable yield, and a lot of them are audited and whatnot. This is, well, it has been audited, but you're really relying on the developers at this point. We can see the price has not been doing too well. Yeah, we can see it's on a very descending cycle. But this is a deflationary token, so it does have a burn function. But let's talk about what it is. So it says right here, Blackfish is the first software to allow co-creating pools for front-run arbitrage and flash loans. So at the moment, the arbitrage bot and the flash loan bot is not active. What they do have is a front run bot. So if you guys don't know what front running is, so on Ethereum, transactions don't take place in order that they were filed or put into. So if I put in a transaction on Ethereum and then you put in one right after me, you could pay more gas than me and your transaction will go through first. Now, what this allows is front running. So people or bots, they see very large market orders or limit orders on DEX tools, stuff like that. They scan the market, they find these big orders which have a large price movement, because if you use Uniswap, it when you place an order on Uniswap, it shows your price impact. So if I want to spend $100,000 on a coin, it could show me that I might move the coin by maybe 1% or something, which is huge. So what a front run bot does is it detects this and puts in some money right at that same time, but pays a higher gas fee. So they get the order in first, right before that big order happens. The big order goes through, there's instant profit. The front run bot instantly cashes out, it makes instant profit. So what this coin does is, by holding the Blackfish LP, so that would be BFLI and ETH, you get a percent profit of the bot. Be ready to receive up to 400% monthly. That's a big claim. There's this distribution, but I wanted to find here we go, the dashboard. Connect your wallet. It should show us the monthly. It won't show me it. But I think this bot I think it makes about $1,000 per day, which then is redistributed back to the LP holders, but it's not the entire percent. So basically, by holding this coin, it's deflationary, and you earn a percent earnings of the front run bot. Now, it sounds good on paper, but there are a lot of different front bots, and I'm sure some are better than others. So really, for me, I'd have to be confident that their front run bot is very good. And also the arbitrage bot. The thing with arbitrage trading bots is there's so many of them. And the whole we make our money based off arbitrage thing is like the classic pyramid scheme kind of thing. I'm not saying Blackfish is a pyramid scheme. I don't think they are at all. But I'm more interested in this. If I was confident in the capability of the front run bot, because front running is not going to go away on Ethereum anytime soon, I would maybe invest in it. And also, every time the bot makes money, it burns some of the BFLI tokens. So very interesting concept. But I think comparing it to, again, traditional yield farming situations or coins, I don't really see it. Profit shares, let's see this. Okay, it won't show me it still. Okay, what's up, Jimmy Francis? Flash V2. Yeah, we can look at that. Wow, 16% dip today. So guys, if you're new to the stream, make sure to stick around, because at 9 p.m., so in about 10 minutes, the podcast will start and Ceazor will join the stream. Fly to the future and earn instant upfront yield on your crypto. Okay, this seems interesting. The graphic is very cool, but I feel like I've seen this graphic before, so it might be some sort of a copy and paste, which would not be the best indicator of a good project. Okay, it was audited. Yeah, thanks, Craig. I'm glad I helped you out. That's another reason why trading like very low liquidity or trading low market cap coins and putting your slippage really high, it basically guarantees you to get front run. But if you're only buying like $1,000 worth, you're not going to move the price that much, so you won't get front run. But for people who are buying on Uniswap and are trading, let's say $20,000, $30,000, and moving the price by 1% even, or even 0.5%, they usually get front run. It's very, very common. And people are really against it. They hate the front run bots. And to me, that's just part of the market. People take advantage of things however they can. And it's pretty fair in my opinion. Okay, let's see here. The stake time continuing. How Flash is their time travel money. Redeem money from the future. Okay, so they're talking about the present value of money. So if you guys don't understand the present value function, it's like a very common financial metric for calculating cash flows or the present value of investment. So for investments, you can basically calculate the future value or the present value. The present value factors in inflation and the discount rate. The discount rate is basically the risk-free rate of interest. So that would be like a T-bill or a treasury bill. So that's kind of what they're explaining. So the date is March 22nd, 2021. A person named Vitalik has $100. Knowing his $100 will be worth less in the future. Okay, Vitalik wants to do something with his money. He decides to flash stake his money 365 days in the future. Immediately, Vitalik is sent $25 to his wallet. 1 year later, he gets his $100 back. I mean, I don't really see us as solving any issue. It's just because you're not getting your principal. So your principal is the original you invest. That's what the word principal means. You're not getting your principal back for a year still. Rather, they keep your principal and give you the earnings immediately. So it's kind of just flipping it. And honestly, I'd rather have my principal than my earnings immediately. But I guess if it's like locked in and these aren't variable. So for example, you are guaranteed your $100 back and you net it immediately. I mean, I guess this could be good. It does kind of make sense. It's kind of clicking to me now. So how does it work? Okay, they're referring to Back to the Future. It's not really useful. Yes, guys, like Global Photographer said, please smash that like button. It helps out the stream. Proof of time. Flash is generated and rewarded to users to provide time to the protocol. As a layer 2, the goal of staking Flash is not to provide security to the network. Ethereum is funding well. The goal of staking Flash is to fuel the time travel money. So I'm guessing what they're doing is you're depositing your Flash and it's getting locked in for a while. So they're basically amounting or amassing a giant pool of capital that they can then use to earn yield and probably generate profit for themselves. I'm not sure if I like this or if I'm not sure if I don't. I don't know. It's interesting for sure. I'd have to just really figure out how it actually works. But they had an audit done by Block Zero. I'm not familiar with them. So but thanks for the suggestion, Jamie Francis. The last one I wanted to go over real quick, guys, before we start the podcast is X Sigma. So this is a big one. It was actually created by CK International, a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ, which I've never seen before. I've never seen a publicly traded company make their own crypto or their own token. And they could look at this this company, CK International. I'm not familiar with them. Their stock has been doing quite well recently as well. But it's kind of a micro cap stock with 158 million as their market cap. But what is X Sigma? It's kind of like M Stable or MUSD or Meta. All different coins in that platform. It's for staking, swapping, and earning yield on stable coins. As a lab backed by a blockchain company, X is committed to bringing more transparency and legitimacy to the blockchain and DeFi arena. But definitely one you guys should check out. I'm gonna talk to Ceazor real quick because he's about to hop on. This is gonna be my first like podcast guy, and not go super smoothly. But also, guys, if you want to listen in on Telegram, he's actually going to be joining my Telegram chat, and maybe I can open up audio for you guys as well, so you guys can ask questions through Telegram. So I'm gonna open that up real quick. Okay, guys, so just stay tuned. I'm just gonna get this set up. Okay. So let's see if he's joined yet. No, he hasn't. I'm just waiting for him to join. But then I'm going to create a call. Start a voice chat. Yeah, okay. I'll start that once he hops in. Good channel, bro. Really undervalued. Item dips. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I have not seen you before on my streams, but thanks for tuning in. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you join my Telegram chat. It's linked down in the description of this video, so you can check that out. Okay, so while we wait for Ceazor, we can just keep talking about this coin that I was interested in. So let's just open the app up. And I'm pretty sure or maybe their app isn't out. Yeah, I heard that they already had $100 million in staking. Okay, about to start the call. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it. I'm kind of just trying to get this figured out because I've never done it before. But let's see if it's working.
Hello?
Hey, Ceazor, can you hear me?
Yeah, give me 2 minutes. I gotta go to the bathroom, all right?
Okay, man. First live stream indeed. Saw some videos before and subbed. Okay, awesome, man. So, guys, everyone who's on the stream, if you have a second, feel free to like the stream. It kind of helps me out. But we're just waiting for Ceazor. I guess he's using the bathroom. And yeah, Ceazor has a YouTube channel of his own. He's really focused on the Binance Smart Chain. I linked his channel down in the description of this video. So if you guys want to check him out, you can. But we're just going to talk about different crypto things, Binance Smart Chain, yield farming strategies, and a lot of other stuff. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Could you guys hear Ceazor in the video when he was talking? Let's see here. Because the way my stream's set up is you should be hearing the audio that's coming out of Telegram as well. So what Ceazor is saying in Telegram, you should be able to hear. If you guys can't hear it, then I guess this live stream won't be uploaded at any other time. But just let me know if you guys heard what Ceazor was saying. Okay, great. And yeah, guys, if you prefer to just tune in on Telegram, you can. Also, you can actually talk on there. So if you want to hop in and ask any questions and actually speak instead of commenting, feel free to do that as well. We already went to the bathroom. Yeah, you went to the bathroom.
Hello.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Not bad. A little bit busy, but all in all, I'm okay.
Cool, man. Thanks for taking the time to do this. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's all good. I'm always keen for talking to new people about this stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I've been following you pretty closely since kind of your channel first started. I'm not sure how exactly I found you, but immediately I was like, okay, this guy's pretty much just doing tutorials and is actually only educational, and I loved it from the get-go. So just want to have you on and kind of ask you a few questions.
Yeah, sure, of course. Thanks for watching my videos and stuff. Do you want to do it like formally, like want to do like an introduction and stuff, or you just like want to assume people know who I am? Like, do you want me to talk about my history and stuff, or you just want to get into like questions about stuff?
I don't think a lot of my listeners know who you are, so if you want to just introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Okay, so just let me get to a little secluded place so it's not too noisy, and then just tell me when we are actually recording, if that's what you're doing or not.
Oh, I've been actually live streaming, so yeah, we're going.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, a little bit about me. Oh, geez, hold on a sec. It's going to be noisy.
Yeah, my chat is saying that they can hear all your stuff. So just give Ceazor a minute, guys. He's just getting ready.
You will be making a lot of emails. Yeah, I'm going to find somewhere to sit down. Sorry. I'm kind of bouncing around here.
Sounds like you're in like a cafeteria or something.
Okay. This should be okay now. Yeah, sorry about that. Well, okay, my name's Ceazor. Run a YouTube channel about cryptocurrency. Basically, I like to understand things before I invest in them, in a sense that I like to know the fundamentals of crypto coins. I don't really do a whole lot of TA in my personal investing. I know the basics, but I don't, I don't trade. I don't really make choices based purely on technical analysis. So I like to understand the protocols. So I decided I wanted to research protocols. And then since I'm pretty good at articulating things and simplifying things down, I decided to make a YouTube channel. I'd seen some other people doing the similar things, and I was like, oh, that's easy enough. I can do that. And that's pretty much how it started. And that's why I do it. It's kind of selfish in the sense that I just research the protocols I'm interested in and just talk about them because I think I consider them for my own investments. And while I'm looking at them, I might as well make a video after I've understood things. Now, I'm not always 100% correct because, I'm human and I usually research a protocol in like one day, maybe a couple days, but usually it's not like I know the protocol for months and months or weeks even, crypto's pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
It's usually, usually I dive in for a day and then make a video about what I learned.
Right. And it's not feasible to fully research all these coins and make constant videos. You have to kind of skim through them. But yeah, thanks for sharing. I can kind of relate to that. I don't do any TA myself. I don't necessarily believe in it hugely. So I'm kind of coming from a similar situation. And from what I understand, because I did listen to your podcast with Gabriel, so you've been in crypto for about a year now.
Well, yeah, crypto since the March dump, pretty much. I got in like pretty much right at the bottom of the March dump, so it hasn't been long, that's for sure. Like I wasn't one of those lucky ones buying like Bitcoin at like $70 or something like that. But I got my first Bitcoin around $6,800. Now, not an entire Bitcoin, that would have been great, but I got it around then. I got in around that time with my first Bitcoin investment. I was pretty hesitant at that time. In hindsight, I would have dumped every single dollar I had into it, but you just move on, right?
Right. So if you don't mind me asking, what exactly is your profession? Do you work in business, or like, can you say very vaguely, or finance or programming? Because a lot of people, it's interesting where they come from and end up in crypto.
Yeah, I'm an English teacher, actually. I have a master's in linguistics. I teach English, and that's what I do, man. And I don't love it with every part of my heart, but I do it, and I do it well. And I think that's why I'm suitable for doing tutorials, because I'm used to talking to people who don't understand English very well. So I'm capable of like what we call teacher talk, which is like simplifying things down or saying things in different ways to try to, create comprehension. Yeah,
Gotcha.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that makes sense actually, because your videos, I can totally see it now. So I understand you're in Asia. So what country did you originally come from?
I'm Canadian by nationality, and I live in Asia now. I don't think I will go back to Canada unless something really drastic comes along and just makes me decide to go back.
Yeah, that's interesting. I actually know a few Canadian crypto YouTubers who have also moved to Asia, so it seems like kind of a common theme I've noticed. But anyways, thanks for sharing about kind of your more like personal life. I find interesting with crypto. So with your job and whatnot, how often are you involved in crypto? Because the thing with crypto for me is it's very like addictive. Like you have a hard time not being on Twitter or CoinGecko 3 hours per day.
Oh, I spend more than 3 hours a day in about the crypto. Like I said, I'm a teacher, so I have office hours, we call them. They're basically times where I don't have to teach and I'm in the office and I just have to be present. And even sometimes, I'll have a class that's fairly autonomous. Like maybe I've given them some task. They need to talk to each other and collect data from each other or whatever, right? And during that time, I might, pop open my phone and scroll through crypto, Twitter, and so forth. But yeah, it is quite addictive, but it's useful. Like it's not, I'm not looking at pictures of pop stars, promoting products or just talking about, their dinner. So I think it's time well spent.
Right. Yeah, I would agree with that. So one thing I try and ask people is there's a lot of people who are in crypto where they're really focused on trading and making quick profits, but there's also people like me where I'm really focused on just building a better portfolio and managing my risk better and just like more taking like the long-term approach to things. I would assume you're kind of on the same spectrum as I am.
Yeah, like the way I look at it is I've chosen a few tokens that I consider to be my blue chips, and my goal is to just obtain more of those tokens. Now, I might do some, what we, in the field we call degen, right? I might jump into some crazy like pool. Like last night, I jumped into a pool that's 20% daily APY.
What
So
pool
like
is
that's
that?
crazy, right? And 20% daily. Oh, what pool is it?
Yeah, I can show
It's
it.
it's the new value DeFi pool on. It's a vault on Bjorn, Bearn, and it's the value DeFi from the old Yearn fork.
Yeah, I
It's
saw
moved
it
over
first
to
launched.
it moved over to Binance Smart Chain now as well. Like I won't, maybe we shouldn't say moved over, but expanded into Binance Smart Chain. And I'm of course I didn't put every single dollar I have in there, but I'm pretty sure that that's not a rug pull, exploitable or not. That's the risk, right? But I'm pretty sure that they're not, a rug pull. Who knows? Don't quote me on it. They might, but it's, to me, in my opinion, it's safer than some food meme from some nobody. Like these guys have been around for a while, and they expanded into Binance Smart Chain. So I expect it to be a little bit safer, right, than, like I said, like kebab or something that I haven't researched very well. So
Right.
yeah, so I still do degen stuff. I still do a little bit of speculation. I don't do a whole lot of like, oh, buy this token and hope for it to pump. I don't really believe too much in that. And I don't like to, a lot of influencers, they also do, they might be honest about it. They might say, it's your risk, and but I've bought in this token or I've bought in that token and I believe in it. And they're pumping it, whether they, they're shilling their token, whether they intentionally doing it or not. And I don't really want to do that too much. Like I do hold some tokens, but I don't usually tell, my community or my viewers to, hey, look at this brand new token I bought. I like to just explain the fundamentals of something and then let them decide if they want to take part in that or not.
Right. I do think though that for us, because we're at pretty similar audience levels, I don't really think we have the power to pump tokens. So I do.
No, you're right.
For me, like I'll talk about coins, like very low cap coins, because I know I don't think there's anyone with $1 million watching my videos. I'd hope not. If they are, it's like, what are you doing, man? But really, like, I get what you're saying though. Like I just on my stream, I'm pulling up the chart of APY.finance, and you can see if you watch my, if everyone's watching my channel, I think there's about 12 people watching, but that's cool. But you can see, if you're familiar with BitBoy Crypto, but as soon as he released the video, it went from $1 to $6, and you see it all the time, and it is a bit irresponsible. Like I think they should really not do that and more focus on larger coins. But the thing is, you can't tell people not to cover certain coins, so it's kind of, I don't know. I do agree that it's not the most moral thing, but at the same time, it is a free market, so it's kind of my stance on that.
Like, can you like what the what are the Wall Street boys did with the GameStop, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of debate on whether that was moral or not, and I think that's the point of it, is that like it's not completely a question of morality. Like if you want to take part in some token that is going to pump and then dump because of this kind of influencer hype, that's your choice, right? And you're taking on the risk of, holding on to it too long, right? But if you want to play it a little bit safer, then you can buy the blue chips that you believe in and so forth. So you can do both too, right? You can follow something like that and get into those early buys and ride it up and sell it at the top. I don't think it's a terrible thing, but it's got to be, people should understand it. Like, they should make it very clear when they're like, oh, this token's probably going to pump and then it's probably going to dump. So that when someone who doesn't really know how this works is watching this video and they're like, oh, this is the next Amazon. And then they buy it and then they turn off their computer for a week and they come back and they're wrecked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they have to be clear on this kind of thing. There's one YouTuber that I watch fairly often, not so much for his token shills, but more for his humor and his energy. And that's Ivan. I'm not sure if you watch him or not.
Ivan on Tech?
Yes, yeah, Ivan on Tech.
I don't.
I enjoy
with him.
I enjoy his videos because of his energy and his laugh and his humor and he does supply you with important daily news that's relevant to us. But he also shills tokens as well, right? And I've heard in the past that he's a paid shield, so people are actually paying him to just mention their tokens. So understanding that is important, but ignoring it, and saying, oh, it's wrong and I'm not going to take part in that. Maybe it's wise, maybe it's not. You know what I mean? That's a question for each individual. Should you take part in a shield pump and dump? That's your choice, right? But it just needs to be clear, I think. I think people just need to understand that, oh, I was paid to shield this token and it's probably going to pump because, I've got 2 million followers, and then it's probably going to dump too because everybody's going to take their profits because they don't really believe in the use case of it or so forth. You get my point, right?
Yeah, and I guess kind of to play devil's advocate too. I mean, this is something that the mainstream media does with stocks as well, and even the Wall Street Bets thing. When I kind of look further into it, it's interesting. Do you know who Michael Burry is?
No.
He was the guy who did. Have you seen the movie The Big Short? The 2008 financial crisis.
Oh yes, yes, I know. Okay, the name didn't come back to me, but yeah.
Yeah, so he the whole Wall Street Bets thing. I saw a year ago. I saw he had 60% or 40% of his portfolio with GameStop longs. So it's not just the Reddit group. There's also institutions doing it as well. And then if you look at bond rating agencies and stuff, it's not just in crypto. So everyone does kind of do it, but I myself am like you. I don't really wish to participate in it. I had this person reach out to me for sponsored content. I don't know if you've had anyone reach out to you for it, but it was for a token called Moon Token, where you all pool your tokens and they pump and dump it. But it's definitely an issue, and I do hear from people who have really gotten wrecked doing it.
I don't get a whole lot of approaches by people to pay me. And when people do ask me to pay me, I generally tell them one thing. I say, you tell me what your protocol is. I'll look into it. And if I like it, I'll make a video. And then if you like my video, you're more than welcome to send me a donation. This is basically how, because some of them just straight up say, hey, how much for one video? And then I tell them that. And then, if I look into it and I like it, then I make the video. And I feel more happy this way because I don't feel like I have to worry about my honesty. If someone's paying you and you say something bad, there's a conflict of interest. You have that interest, oh, they've paid me, so I shouldn't really disclose that little flaw or something, right? But if it's, you like it, you donate to me, then, I don't feel so much pressure. So I try to stay away from paid videos in that sense. I've done only one in the past, and yeah, I'm not going to comment on it too much, but yeah, I've only done one in the past. But I've gotten donations from several others in the past. But I don't think I would take part in something like, hey, you know, like explain this. But I have explained some, you know, tokens that are pure like Ponzi scheme, because I think it's important not to say, hey, go out and buy this token, it's going to moon, but to say, hey, like look at the mechanics of this Ponzi scheme and how interesting and well thought out it is. However, it's still, you know, they're still supplying nothing but Ponzi, you know. But I think it's important for people to see how it works and what the functions are, and then they understand. Because, you know, a lot of my viewers will comment on my video and say, hey, like, you know, it's a Ponzi scheme, or it doesn't supply any like value. And I said, yeah, I know, but it's super interesting. And I think that's what intrigues me about these kinds of tokens. Like what was that? Do you remember the name of that token a little while ago? That you have to lock your ETH in and it's perpetually locked. It can never come back out. And it creates a basement level for the token of the value of the token can never go below that, because it always has like perpetual locked ETH. Do you remember what this was called?
The only ones off the top of my head that are like for sure Ponzi's are Hex, which I'd assume you've probably heard of Hex.
No, I haven't actually.
Oh, Hex is, if you want to, the guy behind it, Richard Hart, is the weirdest guy I've seen in a while. But Hex, it's a total Ponzi. It's just like you described it, where you lock your ETH in these bonds. And the thing with Hex too is the owner actually has, I think he owns 40% of the supply, and the market cap I think was like close to $1 billion at one point. It's absolutely crazy. And there's one called Wise as well, but it's very common. And I don't know if you remember the whole BitConnect thing, but that was kind of like 3 or 4 years ago.
No, I haven't really looked too much in the past. Of course, I do know certain things like Mt. Gox and stuff, and you know, the really, really important things in the past. But a lot of the things in the past, I don't look too much. But I do know what you're talking about. It like all the stages and stuff, going on the stage and, you know, talking about the moon and getting everybody all hyped up, and then just dump the whole bag, right? I do know which one specific you're talking about, but I try not to look too much in the past. I try to focus on things that are moving forward. Yeah.
Gotcha. So one thing I wanted to ask is, there's certain people, like for example, Andre Carolyn. I'm sure you obviously know who he is.
Yeah.
We're just reading their stuff, like just me following him on Twitter. I think like he breaks things down in a way for me where it's very easy for me to understand. Are there any people kind of similar to him where you find they have very easy to digest information that just kind of give you more value for learning DeFi?
Andre's kind of like I kind of see him on both sides of the spectrum. Sometimes he'll write an article, like for his Medium, like the one he did just 2 days ago, right, about saffron, right?
Yeah,
it's very easy to understand. It's very clear. It's very succulent. It's very succulent. Anyhow, it's very clear, right? And sometimes he writes things it's not so clear, right? Because he's got so many ideas in there, and he's trying to put them all in there and make it short. So sometimes it's a little bit hard. But to be honest, I don't follow a lot of people like that.
Developers.
I talk to developers one-on-one. I have a Telegram community, not a community, but like I have a contact list of developers that I basically talk to. And, you know, some of them I talk to on a daily basis. And, you know, if I don't understand some contract aspect, I'll shoot it by them and see if they know. And I think that's probably my biggest source of understanding. But like news, I just like crypto Twitter to me is just I just quickly skim through, and then if I see any kind of thing that looks kind of interesting, then I'll go to that protocol and read the docs. I find the docs is the place to go. I used to love the mediums, but the medium pages, the docs are so much easier. If there's not a good docs, then I tend to like just kind of leave it and come back later.
Gotcha. So,
but yeah, innovative stuff. I don't know. I don't follow anybody. Like, of course, I follow Andre,
yeah.
but I can't think of anybody off the top of my mind that's really like, looking at things, digesting it down, and then reiterating it, especially in text. Yeah.
Okay.
I wish.
Gotcha.
I should probably consider this.
The only other source really for me is there's a few people I follow, but have you listened to the Bankless podcast? I found some of the ones they have are pretty well done.
I used to. When I first got into crypto, I spent about a month or two with them, but I'm not a big fan of what we are doing right now, interviews. I find them to be very inefficient. It takes a lot of time to get the information you want, and then usually it's difficult to actually find the information you want. If you want to listen to like Bankless talking to who did they talk to the other day, yesterday or so forth? It's on the tip of my tongue. What's his name? The billionaire. The Maverick.
Oh, Mark Cuban.
Yeah, Mark Cuban. Yeah. So they talked to him, and I haven't listened to it yet, and I'm not sure if I really need to, because I'm not more intelligent than Mark Cuban or anything, but I don't know if I will actually get a lot of value from that time. And I know it's going to take like an hour.
So you're just not a podcast person, really?
Yeah, I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I do listen. If I see the person on the other end is somebody who I'm really interested in, then I'll listen to it. Yeah. And sometimes, I'm doing dishes, I might listen to it, but I don't follow podcasts. And the Bankless community, they tend to do that all now. And I like tutorials more. I like to just understand protocols and not really hear so much about the people.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. So in following your channel, in terms of percentages on your portfolio, are you pretty much all in on BSC now?
No, not at all. No.
Okay.
No, not at all. In fact, the way I look at Binance Smart Chain is it's just a way for me to get more ETH tokens.
Mm.
I use my portfolio is larger on Binance Smart Chain, so just because I've been able to grow it so fast, it's quite easy, right? To get that, like I said, 20% APY on ETH is not only very hard to find, if not impossible, right? It's also very hard to do with a small amount of money. So I would have to have $1 million in order to risk, $20,000 on Ethereum. Do you know what I mean? To justify risking that much. But on Binance Smart Chain, I don't mind throwing $1,000 into this thing because the gas is going to be, so minimal, right? But, there's quite a few new blockchains coming out, and I'm really interested in them because there is the whole, CZ gates, he can close the gates. And, there's more and more bridges coming around, but, I don't know. I've lost money I haven't lost money, but I've had money locked in 20 days. So I'm not a big fan of using that. But I do know why it was locked, and I do understand. Well, I don't know why it got locked, but I do understand why it took so long to get it out. Right. Yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely not all in on Binance Smart Chain. I do like the user experience, And I do like the protocols that I use there. And I do like the teams. And I'm not necessarily going to leave them, but I'm not going to sell my, my ETH, my Ether, or my BTC for, some token on Binance Smart Chain.
Gotcha. Yeah, I had something similar with the Matic wallet, or I guess it's called Polygon now, but I was farming on Matic with the Quick Swap. They had like a farming promotion for their Quick tokens. It went pretty well, but bridging over to Matic cost a little bit of ETH, but getting back was like $200 almost or something. So basically my tokens are stuck over there because I was testing, but I myself, I'm like pretty much, I have nothing on Binance Smart Chain. I haven't really used it too much simply because the whole bridge process for me, it's so tedious and there's gas to get in and out. And also having money where it's locked, where I can't, like say I immediately wanted to actually transfer my money to fiat, but having to go through the bridge and all that to actually get it to a fiat on ramp because I can't use Binance here in the US. So it's kind of what has been deterring me from using it. It's nothing against the actual blockchain. It's just the e-liquid nature of it for me because I really like the ability to transfer into cash if I need to.
You can just to, I'm not trying to shield the place, but just to give you a little more information, you can consider going via KuCoin and Terra. There's a bridge between Binance Smart Chain and Terra. It's quite useful. I use it regularly. It's very quick, easy, fast. And then there's, of course, the bridge between KuCoin and Terra, or Mirror, right? Mirror Terra. So you can consider that route, and then you don't even have to go through Binance Exchange. But you can think about it. Now it's going to have two bridges instead, right? But the other way would have two bridges as well, right? No, you'd still have to go into KuCoin, and then from KuCoin to Mirror or Terra, and then from Terra to Binance. So there's three, right? Three little exchanges. So there's a little bit extra, but it's an option. You can look into it.
Are you actually using Terra at all?
Yes. I farm every day on Mirror. It's fantastic, man. It's so cheap. It's so fast. It's so easy. And it stocks. So, the volatility is much lower than, stocks, they do fluctuate, they're not 100% certain. They're not 100% safe. But I think, Tesla versus US dollar is definitely more safe than, I'll just make up sausage versus USDT, or you know what I mean?
Didn't they have a QQQ, like an ETF as well?
Yeah, they've got a few. I know they've got VIXI, and they might have QQQ. I'm not sure.
I think I tend
to look at which. Yeah, I'm pretty sure QQ's there as well. I tend to look at whichever LP is just giving the highest APY and generally go with that to some degree. Like, I didn't do, GameStop is at the top, but I'm not gonna provide liquidity in GameStop US dollars, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
And same with AMC too. AMC is there as well, so I'm not gonna do that one either. And it's up near the top, the highest performing APY. But I think it's pretty safe. It's in the sense that, the token risk itself. You do pay a premium because it is a token and it's getting sold in an AMM. So it does go up in price and maybe even down in price, but I've never seen it go below the peg, right? So there is that consideration. You do have to think about, if you bought top Tesla stock, you'd be paying, $60 more to buy it here, or 40 or whatever. You'd have to check it, right?
Right. Yeah, Mirror is one of those I try not to look at it because people were shilling it to me in December and it was at like $1, and one of those I passed on, but definitely a very interesting platform. I don't the whole synthetic assets thing, I definitely see a future for that. I don't know if it'll be on Mir though. What, or do you think that Mir really has long-term potential?
I don't know. To be honest, it's a way for me to get more BTC.
So you're just a total yield farmer, really.
Yeah. Like every single Mir token I get, I immediately, like I don't immediately, but like once a day, I harvest all my Mir tokens, I sell them all for USDT, and then I build more LPs. And eventually, I'm just gonna probably sell them all. You know, I don't know. You know, I'll see how I feel in next week, and then the week after that. But you know, like almost, you know, the whole you were mentioned that like you don't like the whole bridge things. I think it's something that you kind of have to accept. Like it's until ETH 2.0 comes out, you gotta learn the bridges, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. There's a few of them. They are different. I tried to play around with going to what is it? Radium. What's Radium on?
Solana.
Solana, yeah. I played with that yesterday, and I was like, I got to send ETH, and I'm gonna send my ETH into this Radium place. But you know, there's a whole bunch of them now, and I think it's a good idea to at least look at it and learn one of them, or maybe two or three, and you get to spread your risk a little bit. You know, like I have risk on Binance Smart Chain, and I have risk on Terra just because they're, you know, unproven, right? And then you have, you know, Binance Smart Chain, the whole Binance thing, right? But, you know, being able to spread to different blockchains, I think is a wise choice. And it's good I think these bridges are going to be important, and they're getting much more useful. Like it's not like before, like when they first came out, it was a total waste of gas. Like, you know, I send my ETH up to this second layer place. I do a swap, and then I send it back. That's just costs you even more gas, right? Like it maybe it would be roughly the same, because, you know, sending to a bridge is a lot cheaper than doing a Uniswap swap, right? Mm-hmm. But whether it was actually whether there was actually a point, then I don't know. But I think it's interesting to look at it and to learn it. Now, a lot of protocols might do it in the background. You know, like if I want to if you put like, just to throw an example out there, this doesn't actually happen right now, but I can see it happening in the very near future. And that is like, say you deposit let's just use DAI. You deposit your DAI into a Yearn vault, and then Yearn sends that up into Phantom blockchain, along Phantom blockchain, and deposits it into whatever, Compound or Aave that happens to be up there as well, connected up there. So you can it's kind of like a two-way road. You know, you can go through the Ethereum road to take your tokens from Yearn to Compound or whatever, but then it can also go up and around through the cheaper way, you know, depending on how much those bridges cost, you know what I mean? And yeah, it doesn't have to come down from the layer 2 or the second blockchain. It doesn't have to actually come down from there until they need it back in Ethereum. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no.
So maybe Compound can just leave their funds up there and then bring them back down as bulk. You know, like just like traditional like supply chains, right? You know, you don't individually ship every single product. You hoard them up in a warehouse and then ship them together, right? They can do some sort of similar thing like that, depending on demand and supply and so forth. That's something they have to figure out. So I think, you know, the user might not have to use the bridges if they just stick on Ethereum, but you know, lurking around and sneaking around in the alleyways, you know, you can make some good money. I don't want to call them dark alleyways, but like in these other blockchains or these other second layer things, looking around in there, you can save some money on gas and you can make APYs because there are opportunities.
Yes,
so I think
definitely.
it's important to look at it. I came to cryptocurrency in March, like I said, and I immediately started learning about Aave and Compound, and I looked at them. I just looked at them, and I was like, okay, how much is it going to cost me to put this in there? What are the APYs, and what am I going to do this with the tokens in there? And I couldn't do it. I don't have, $300,000 US in that time to stick in there and be like, let's try this, right? And now it's even worse, right? And then when I went to Binance Smart Chain, I started playing with Venus, which is, basically, Aave or Compound with differences, but basically the idea is the same, right? And I started being able to play with it. So I get like ideas about how to lend and borrow and how to utilize this tool much better now. I have a much better understanding now from actually doing it and then running into like little problems. Like a couple of days ago, I tweeted and I mentioned that I realized that I've borrowed money, I've opened positions, and then I've taken profit from those positions, but I took too much profit. So now my positions cannot pay off my debt. And I could pull out my collateral that I took profit in and sell that to pay off the debt if I wanted to close off my debts, right? But everything dumped. So I don't want to sell any of it. What platform
did you borrow on?
Oh, Venus.
Oh, you borrowed on Venus.
So
okay.
I haven't, I'm not at risk, but I was just, balancing my numbers, making sure I had enough positions open to pay off all my debts. And I realized that I didn't. So what I had done is I'd taken some profit one time and took too much, and then bought some BTC or Litecoin or whatever I bought, right, and stuck it in Venus. So then they all dumped. So now it's a bad time to sell if I were to want to do that. But you see, like this kind of thing I wouldn't have learned by reading the docs, by watching some whale play with his Compound wallet. You know what I mean? I would never have seen this and learned this and realized this is something you need to take into account, right? It's taking that, it would have been much better for me to take that profit after the dump, even though even though now I don't have enough positions to pay off my debt, but at least I bought the dip.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? When it does,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. And then when the price of those do go back up, I could then sell them for a profit there and pay off my debt if I chose to do so. I'm sorry. Now, what were you saying?
I was going to ask how the debt to collateral ratio is on Venus, just because I haven't really done much borrowing, simply because you really have to put a lot of collateral for your coins, really, and it just, in my opinion, it hasn't really seemed too attractive to me. So I was just wondering how it is on Venus.
Oh, it's actually pretty bad. It's currently 60%.
Whoa.
So you can only borrow. Yeah, that's the max. So I usually borrow about 40%, between 30 and 40% of my total value locked in there, right? Which is quite low, right? But like I said, I lock in my blue chips there, and then I borrow against them and use that to do the degen yield farming. So I don't want to borrow I'm definitely not want to sell my BTC to buy, sausage token, right? Mm-hmm. That's not something I'm at all interested in doing, right? But borrowing versus it is not such a terrible idea. I do believe in this particular protocol in the sense that, like, it's not as old as Aave or Compound, right? But it's certainly backed by Binance. Like, it's run by the Swipe team, which Binance owns, right? So if anything does happen, like if there's a liquidation event, price feed liquidation event, no. But if there's some sort of hack, I don't know. But I believe that Binance will do something about that. Perhaps. You know what I mean? It's definitely safer than something that's not backed by them, right?
Sure.
Yeah, the collateral ratio on that is going to 80% though. That's what I've heard most recently. I don't know if it's happened yet, so it'll go up to 80%, which is good. I still won't borrow that much, but it's nice to know that you won't start getting liquidated until 80%, right?
Right. Yeah. It's actually kind of interesting. I don't know if you've heard this theory that with the gas prices, people were saying that CZ or Binance is purposely congesting the Ethereum network. I don't know if you've heard that before.
Yeah, who knows, man? I definitely would not completely deny that could be true.
I mean, it makes sense, but how do you prove that?
Yeah, well, yeah, and even still, even if he just says, yeah, I'm doing it, it doesn't matter because he can do it. That's the important thing, like if he's not able to do it, then he won't, right? Like, it sounds shitty that if he is doing it, it sounds pretty bad. And it's definitely psyops, right?
Yeah.
But it should be he can't do it. It shouldn't be, he is doing it. It should be, it's impossible to do it. But he can. So, I don't know. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. I'm not sure, right? Who knows, right? But I do doubt it to some extent because, like Binance is super whale, right? It's like a ginormous whale, right? But there are a lot of other big whales that have nothing to do with him. And they're all using it. Like, do you think, like, what was it, 2 days ago? Like, I seen like the minimum gas was like 700 on Ethereum.
I saw that.
I don't think that was purely him. I think that was every single whale going, let's try to make some money off of this huge Bitcoin dump, Ethereum dump. And they just started things. And they don't mind paying, $700 or $500 to move, 200,000, or even, 2 million. They don't care, right? So they just did it, right? So I think that's kind of where that congestion comes from. But I wouldn't call someone a complete liar for saying that. Like, I'm pretty neutral about the whole Binance thing. Like, of course, people say, oh, it's not decentralized. It's, CeFi DeFi. And I agree it is, but it doesn't mean you should completely ignore it.
Well, people, they have this bias where they think they're in it for the technology and they're in it to decentralize everything. And if it's not decentralized, it's garbage. But I don't really buy that. I mean, we're all here to make money at the end of the day, but it is a valid point for sure.
And like, if you even think about it, like Art of War, like, even if you are like a decentralized maximalist, why not use your enemy's resources to better your cause?
Sure. Yeah.
Like, even do that. Now, there is risk, and I undoubtedly believe that too. And they are correct in this sense. If you use Binance Smart Chain, you are taking on Binance risk, unquestionably. it's, all the nodes are run by them. So I've been told, or so I understand. I could be wrong. All the nodes are run by them. The bridges are locked and controlled by them. So you have to accept that risk if you want to use it. And if you don't need to, if you have, like I have I have some whale friends that talk to me regularly. They ask me, like, they just got tons of money, right? But they don't understand DeFi completely perfectly, or they don't do the research because they've got tons of Bitcoin. Like they don't care, right? So they ask me, oh, what do you think of this protocol? Or how do I do this? Or da 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 da. And they're on Ethereum, and I never tell them, go to Binance, man, save gas.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never tell them this because they don't need it. Like they can put, like always the other day, one of them's asking me, oh, should I stake this 80,000 CRV into the contract, the curve voting contract thing? Should I stake this in there? And I'm like, yeah. What are you going to do with it otherwise? And then I explain to him how it works, how he's going to get 3 pull tokens and stuff like that. But like, I'm not going to tell him, no, sell that for BNB and bring it over and buy sausage token. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He doesn't need to worry about, like, of course, he doesn't want to waste money on gas, but he doesn't need to worry that much. He's way better off in Curve than he is on, other, he doesn't need to take on the Binance Smart Chain risk of, Binance and all that. So I don't tell him to, right? Or I didn't tell him to do this.
Yeah, no,
but when he asked,
makes sense.
Yeah. So I agree with them, in a sense, but, you have to do what you can do, right? Like, if you have a Ferrari, then you can go on the Autobahn and race. But if you don't have a Ferrari, or you don't have a race car or whatever, then you got to take the side streets. You got to ride the bicycle. You got to take the bus. If you got to take the bus, you take the bus, right? It's the same idea. It's just, different people, different situations, right?
Yeah, no, it totally makes sense. So one thing I wanted to ask also is I've kind of found that from people I've talked to, I actually hold 40% of my portfolio in stablecoins, which I find most people don't do at all. What is your stance on stablecoins? Because I find, my mentality with that is it's like the classic 60-40 stock and bond split. I basically just apply that to crypto because I like researching coins a lot and learning, but I'm not confident enough and I just don't have the time. And also, I'm not someone who wants to be a day trader. I think day trading would not be a fun existence. I've gone through months where I have been day trading, and mentally, it's a nightmare for me. I'm not saying it ended badly or anything, but I would rather have a more passive portfolio where I can actually have a life, really. So, what's your stance on stablecoins, really?
My stance has changed recently, and it's as thus. In the past, I was like, why would I want to hold stablecoins? I'm giving up capital gains, right? I've basically decided that I don't want capital gains on 40% of my portfolio, right? And I kind of still, I'm in this farm or in this camp, right? But I do see the value of having stablecoins. Like, first of all, you can buy the dip if it does come. Like the other day, you could have bought some of that. I could not because I don't have a whole bunch of stablecoins, right? However, why not buy Bitcoin with all your stablecoins, and then, like, what are you doing with your stablecoins? You probably got them somewhere, like in some sort of contract, like, I don't know, who knows which one, right? But you've got them somewhere yielding some APY, like 30, 50, 60, whatever percent, right? But why not buy Bitcoin or that token that you have absolute faith in, buy that all out, lend it on Aave, and then borrow the stable coins and hold on to those and use those to yield farm and those to buy the dip. You'll come into the problem that I've I came across, where if you're using borrowed money to buy the dip, then you might have to sell what you bought in order to pay your debt in a case of like emergency, right? But I kind of don't. It's hard for me to convince myself to hold U.S. dollar stablecoins, especially since I don't live in U.S. dollar. In U.S., I don't pay for anything in U.S. dollars.
Right.
And I live in a country that cryptocurrency is tax free, so I don't have to worry about, if I need money, having to sell my tokens and pay capital gains tax on the sale. Whereas you have to consider that, like if you're holding all Bitcoin and you need money for whatever reason, you have to sell Bitcoin and you have to pay tax on that, right? I don't have this concern, so that's probably a huge factor for me that other people do have to worry about. But I don't really like holding stable coins, but I do see the value. Like, why hold, if you're going to hold, like, I'm just going to throw a number out there. Let's say, $10,000 in your bank account because, you need money for a rainy day rent or your car breaks down or whatever. So you need, you're holding that $10,000 in your bank account. I would definitely, instead of doing that, put it into stable coins.
Exactly.
That's just a no-brainer. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That's just a no-brainer. But I wouldn't consider stable coins part of my investment. Like, because you're not going to get any, it's not an investment. It's a farm. Like you're farming APY.
Right.
So
yeah,
it's not, it's a separation from investment.
You could equate it to like a bond almost. Sure. It's, for me, really, like because I hold stocks as well. I'm not just all in on crypto. Some people, they don't hold, or they nearly hold zero fiat, which to me, it's just too volatile. Like I'm a little bit more risk averse, I'd say, than the average crypto person, just because for me, I'm not looking to pay my rent or make money in that kind of way from crypto. It's more of like actually building long-term wealth. I'm just focused on over the next decade, or let's say 20 years, how can I earn the absolute highest average annual return? That's really all I care about. I don't care if I do 200% in 1 year because the next year I might do negative 50%. So I think that's for me, that's why the stable coin approach kind of works out.
I see your point. Like my day-to-day life, my rent, all that kind of stuff, or whatever you want to call those things, cost gas and gasoline, food, and all that. It's paid through my day job.
Mm-hmm.
And my cryptocurrency is like a, I don't want to say it's a game. It's not a game, right? But
Yeah.
It's kind of like a game to me. I just do it for enjoyment and knowledge. And like I figure, why not play this game and make money instead of playing, Halo or, any of these other games, like whatever, like video games, right? Why not play this one instead, and, make money and maybe lose it all but if you look at it like, oh, it's a game, then, you don't mortgage your house and put your money into it, because are you going to mortgage your house and buy like, the next, Xbox? No, right?
Right.
You
Yeah.
won't, right? But if you look at it like a game, then you'll be like, okay, it's entertainment. How much entertainment money do I have? Then you can kind of hedge your risk that way. You can kind of protect yourself from, going all in, right? And I don't think cryptocurrency right now is the best thing to do all in, because, it's great. It's awesome. And I believe in it. And I hope to God it's the future. I really do, because there's so much goodness about it. I tweeted the other day. I was like looking at Tesla stock, and there's I was looking on TradingView, and it's like current price, and then above it is like pre-price, right? Like pre-market.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm like, my tweet was like, buy the dip. Oh, whoa, wait for us to sell it to our cronies, and then you can buy their tops.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it is, right?
Yeah.
And crypto's not like that, right? There is some VCs. There are, if you're participating in like new coin ICOs and stuff, right? Then there is that aspect in there, but you'll never be like day to day constantly screwed by the like, what are they called? The certified investors. What are they called? The people who are allowed to participate in like ICOs and stuff. What are they called in America?
You mean in
certified?
IPOs?
Yeah.
I think it's
What are they
just
called?
accredited investor. It's something like that.
Accredited investor or something.
Mhm.
Yeah. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
So like they're screwing everybody, right? And that does happen in crypto, but you'd be damn sure that I can buy and sell whatever top and bottom I want in crypto. I don't have to wait for 9 a.m. I don't have to do that. And I think it's fantastic. And, like, for how long has the bank been giving like sub 1%? Since my parents, maybe my grandparents. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's garbage.
Now I'm not saying like, I don't think the banks intentionally were super evil about it. Like they do have a lot of overhead and they do have salaries and they did supply jobs to people. So it's not all evil, like, one guy in an office just cashing in, but there is some degree of that one guy in the office cashing in, right? Whereas in crypto, there are many projects that have absolutely zero of this. There's no one guy cashing in everything because he is the boss. You know what I mean? There are definitely projects that are like this. There are some that are, the team has, 40%, 50%. There are these tokens, but there are some tokens that are, whoever believed in it and took part, they have the tokens. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I really think it's fair. I think it's great, and I really hope it is the future. I do, but I can see something like cataclysmic happening. It's possible that like, the government just stomps it, or there's just
it could go down so
hacks.
quickly. Like it could.
Oh yeah.
You could wake up tomorrow and the market is in total panic and fear. That's why, again, I just feel like my strategy. That's going through 2017. That's kind of where I held my assets a bit too long. The market is very fragile, for sure.
Oh yeah. And that's probably why I shouldn't be doing so much borrowing and lending and stuff, because of this, right? But I think if I make sure I have enough positions, like in stablecoins or in something equivalent to a stablecoin, in stablecoins to cover my borrow and my debt, then I think it's relatively safe if I react quick enough. But yeah, like I live in Asia, and I wake up in the morning and I have to check, and I'm like, oh, what did those friggin' Americans do today?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, oh, thank you, America. And sometimes it's like, oh God, America, what have you done? You took me from 40% to 60%. Now I got to like close my sausage LP. And
yeah, I was actually, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I was just explaining that with the way my portfolio is set up, and I like really try to adhere to specific rules just because that's what works for me. And like I've already, like if you break it down really, like the average S&P 500 annual return is 9%. So really, people who are making that in a day, like they don't have to chase these crazy returns. But for me, sometimes, or at least recently, when the market is going down, it doesn't. The way I'm set up, it doesn't bother me at all, because what I find the most satisfaction in, and what I really like doing, is just kind of like being first, just being the person who gets in the project the earliest, and just having the time to really research projects and dig into them and find ones that I think are winners, like actually based off fundamentals and not hype. And when the market right now is so crazy, there's no time to actually go through and do the research before it pumps. But when it's more bearish, it actually will give me the time to go through and just set up my portfolio as perfect as I can. So that's kind of the perspective I take. It's a bit different, but I try and invest in projects that I can have a good bet that they will survive at least 5 years or so. Because I definitely am one of those people who think that, I mean, even 5 years from now, we could see 90% of the coins dying. It's just there's too many coins and there's too many clones, and I just want to pick ones that I don't have to worry about them becoming completely worthless in the future.
If you look at the hype cycle, almost all cryptocurrency tokens go through that initial pump dump, right?
Right.
Every single one and if you wait that out, and then you use that dump time when everybody's like, oh God, right?
Yep.
Then to do your research, then you can actually find the ones that return to the all-time high or go beyond, right? So I agree with you that, missing that pump and dump and then waiting for it to go up is a good time to do research. And then I like the idea of buying something and holding it for long term. I don't really like to do a whole lot of speculating on like individual tokens, like governance tokens and stuff like that. I tend to just, farm APY and sell for Bitcoin or Ethereum or, some of the other large caps that I support, that I believe in, right? Or that I don't mind speculating on. Like I have a position in ADA, and I think that's pretty speculative.
Cardano?
Yeah, Cardano, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really into it.
Like it's a big if, right?
There's so much hype around it.
But it is solid. Like it's not, like I said, it's not sausage coin, right? It's done properly. It's not a fork, but you're right. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of like almost religion. You know what I mean? Like it's almost a religion.
For sure.
The people who are, there and supporting. And the only thing I don't like about Cardano is how much they hate on ETH. I don't like that. I think, you can be better than ETH. You can improve on ETH. You can be actually a better choice than ETH, but you don't have to say that you're a better choice than ETH. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, people are emotional about, virtual coins. It's ridiculous for sure.
Yeah, but I do like your, the idea of not, definitely not trading. Like I can't do that. I started my investing like knowledge learning. I took a course, kind of. Well, we'll call it a course. It's quite good, but I took a course on like trading Forex, and just reading TA signals, buying, selling, going long, going short for a couple of days or whatever you, taking profits, setting strict stop losses and take profits, and having a plan and so forth. And I got wrecked. It was terrible.
Was it a Top Step?
And no, it was Learn to Trade the Market.
Was it like a funded account kind of thing?
Yeah, like what do you mean by a funded account?
For example, Top Step, what it does is it's actually like a very legitimate platform. I have a friend who actually pretty much makes a living off it, but it's for Forex and equities. You go in, you pay a monthly fee of about $300. If you pass their combine, what they call it, They fund your account. So, and then you keep 80% of the profit and they take 20. So the only risk you're taking on is that I think $300 monthly fee. But my friend, he has like a $80,000 funded Forex account. So I I haven't done it myself, but I want to eventually just for a month because it'd be kind of a fun experiment. And again, you can trade a good amount of money for pretty low risk.
Oh, so it's leverage in the sense.
Yes.
Do
Yes.
you
For
get
sure.
leverage positions? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, like I had a leveraged Forex account. I did have a leveraged Forex account. It was leveraged, but it didn't have this kind of funded and like monthly subscription thing. It was just you deposit your money in there and we'll let you leverage it, and then you get liquidated. It was just basic like any other kind of trading platform, right? But it used it at MetaTrader, so I was like all over MetaTrader and stuff. But I got wrecked because I just didn't have the patience. I didn't have the level of control to stick to my plan. I'm pretty I like to run around and look at new stuff and go and click on. I like to explore new things, and day trading Forex is not for me. That's for sure. So I didn't get wrecked, I didn't get wrecked in the sense that I lost like $1 million or something, but I lost all the money I put in there. So I have decided that in crypto, I'm going to believe it's the same as Forex, if not worse. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to trade. Like I said, all I care about is the few blue chips that I really believe in. And
which are those coins?
For just a few, I'm not going to tell you everyone, but Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm a little bit on the fence now about Ethereum because of all of this stuff, but I still think it's gonna hold out, right? Because of things like grayscale and stuff like that. They're not going to let it go to zero, right? And so Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link. Those are pretty much the top three. And then after that, I would say, then I start going a little more speculative, like ADA, Litecoin, YFI token. And then that's about it. So to be honest, when I'm taking profits, the first thing I consider is BTC or ETH. And then if they're both in a top, then I'll look at Link and YFI maybe. And then if those are also in a top, then I just don't take profits. I just leave them in the position and wait for another dip. Now, these are not 25%. No. They're my ETH and my Bitcoin heavily eclipse the Link and the YFI token. And the YFI token is a little bit of a pain because you can't use it as collateral in some places like Venus. It doesn't accept YFI. So yeah. And I consider sometimes BNB as well, but I don't know, man.
I wouldn't buy it right now.
No, definitely not now. But it's, and I wish it wasn't the way it is now. In honesty, I wish BNB just stayed down like a stable coin. I wish gas coins were stable coins.
Yeah, I think that because you pay fees in ETH and BNB rather than the native asset you send it in. That's always something I don't think anyone enjoys that.
No, it's terrible. If it was it could be BNB, but if it was just pegged to a certain value at all times, then you would never be if you go to what is it, WTF, .eth or
Oh, I can't look at that.
.wtf.
I can't.
If you go to that and you remember, like, like a few months ago, you were buying, you did a transaction and it cost you like $15, and you look now and it cost you actually $70.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, like that's rough. And I just wish that ETH or gas, not necessarily ETH, but I just wish gas was paid in like USDT or something, like something just flat. Now, that would then drastically like mess with the value proposition of ETH and of BNB. So that's a different problem, but it would be nice if I knew that every time I pay gas, I'm just paying, this amount of US dollars, whether it be, $2 or 50 cents or whatever, right? And that's the way it is on Mirror. On Mirror, you pay in USDT. You pay gas in USDT.
Or is it USDT or UST?
Oh, sorry, UST, yeah, UST.
Okay,
which is
that's
Terra
what I
US
thought.
dollar, right? Yeah, did I say an extra T or a D? Yeah.
Yeah,
UST.
no worries, you're good.
And it does trade at a premium, so it's above peg, right? But it's not gonna go to, $20,000 or even $1,000. It's going to stay within $1-2. So that's, to me, I like that. It's predictable. It's under. But it doesn't. It also has the problem of it doesn't incentivize miners as well either, right? Like a miner or someone who's even running, proof of stake.
Sure.
They like to get assets that are, growth assets, not, straight dollars. Like if you put into a vault or some sort of like investment package, do you want to get paid in, USDT or whatever stable coin? Probably not. You want to get paid in the token that you put in there, right? That's the whole point of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is it can't happen. Just the ecosystem cannot work that way, but it works that way on Mirror. Now, I'm not saying Mirror is the best place in the world, but I like this aspect of Mirror.
Yeah, I need to look into it more, but I'm kind of like, I've been making 1 to 2 trades per week, which that's kind of why the gas fees aren't too big of a deal, just because I'm trading at a very low volume. And also for example, one of the coins I really like is Mark. I've talked about it on my channel. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but I utilize.
No idea.
Benchmark protocol. It's a rebase token that I'm super into it. It's like one of those coins that you just I don't know if you're like me, but you kind of have a romantic thing towards certain coins almost. But not to get off topic, the LPs with it. So for me with the LPs, you're kind of the opposite, where you're just chasing like the short-term yield. On the Mark LP, so for example, the USDC one, the APY is pretty high. I think it's like 120%. But I talked to the team, and those rewards should stay for 3 to 7 years, which is very good. And also the rewards, they don't rebase. So they don't really advertise that. But that's for sure not the only, but the biggest LP position I have, because it's long-term for me. And the rewards don't rebase. So I can assume they'll always equal $1.40 because it's pegged to the SDR. And then when it goes over that, so when there's a positive rebase and it goes above peg, I can claim my rewards and actually sell at a higher rate. So it's interesting to me.
So the rewards are paid in bonds.
The rewards are paid in the Mark token.
Okay. So you supply Mark USDC to the LP, right?
Yes, then you stake the LP token.
And the Mark token is pegged to US dollar, right? It's as a rebasing token, right?
No, it's pegged to the SDR.
STR.
SDR. The SDR is a reserve asset. It's a basket. So it averages out the dollar, the yen, the pound, and like two other currencies. So it's basically
Oh, okay.
an
Yeah, I know what you're
average.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an average of all the world's currencies.
Mm-hmm.
It's called SD or ST, like Tango.
It's called special drawing rights, so SDR.
Oh, D. Okay. So how does it rebase? How does it when it goes below peg? How does it correct it? And when it goes above peg, I assume they just mint more tokens.
Well, I mean, are you familiar with Ampleforth at all?
Yes. I'm actually I did a video a little while on B dollar, and they follow basis. But I do know Ampleforth, like basically dig, right?
Sure. So the thing with Mark, so obviously it's different than Ample because it has the SDR pay, which, okay, you can argue the peg's better because it's not the US dollar or whatever. That's not the big deal. Their rebase like prediction model is different because if they're below peg, they can actually have a positive rebase because are you familiar with the VIX,
Yeah, a little bit.
the volatility
The VIXI,
index?
right? Yeah. I'd like to understand better, but maybe you can explain it a little bit better because I do understand a little bit, but I don't have a clear understanding.
Sure. So I'm no expert on the VIX myself, but basically it's like a fear indicator, right? It's a forward-looking 30-day model on options. So it predicts volatility in the market. So like if you look at the VIX on a chart, you see massive spike right when the '08 crisis happened, right when COVID hit. It basically predicts massive periods of volatility. So what Mark does is they incorporate the VIX into their rebases. So if they see spikes in the VIX and they're supposed to be having a negative rebase, there might actually be a positive rebase, and it's a really new coin. It's a market cap of only like 12 million, but eventually they're going to incorporate a like lending and borrowing space for uh, rebase tokens, and the idea is that by having these predictive rebase models, it can help with the whole like liquidation aspect of loans. It's kind of a more complicated subject, but I just thought it'd be interesting to tell you about because I thought you might find it to be cool.
This is interesting to me. I'd like to understand it. Like I understand that like you're no expert, and I do appreciate what knowledge you do have to give to me. But this is the way I look at it now, the way I understand it. And if the price goes above peg, they mint more tokens. They give them out, people sell them, and the price goes back down. That's the idea of any rebasing token when it goes above peg, right? When it goes below peg, they pull your do they pull out of your wallet, or do
Yes.
they sell bonds?
They pull out of your wallet so
Also,
everyone loses tokens. But I mean,
but they hold the same percentage, right?
yeah,
I get it.
it's not dilutive.
Yeah. So and the reason the rebasing calculation is based on the VIXI, not on the actual, the percentage. It's not just some random number chosen by the community, like 3% or 10% or whatever. It's an actual calculation based on the predictive volatility of the entire money supply. Like, I don't understand the VIXI. Is the VIXI a prediction of stock values, or
It's
is
the
it a prediction of
S&P 500, but I mean, crypto, people like to think Bitcoin's a hedge, but I mean, I guess it's a hedge against the dollar, but if you look at the S&P 500 and Bitcoin, they're pretty correlated, but if you look at Ample and Bitcoin, they're almost uncorrelated. That's kind of why I like rebase tokens if you do look at them historically, they do kind of have almost an uncorrelated nature to Bitcoin because everything's correlated to Bitcoin really. It's kind of the thing for me is because if you diversify your portfolio, but everything's super correlated, you're not really doing anything.
Yeah, I get it. You're just changing apples for crab apples, or Granny Smith for Red Delicious, right? They're all apples,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if you do go to oranges I agree with this because I just noticed this the other day, actually. During the Bitcoin dump, everything dumped, everything dumped. However, by rebasing, coins did not. They
Yep.
did not go below peg. And even the boardroom tokens, they're not governance tokens, but they're the tokens that you need to stake. The people who stake this token get the rebasing token. It's you know what I mean? So it doesn't go into people's wallets. It goes to the people who hold the boardroom token, right? So even that didn't dump. So I agree with you that like they are uncorrelated to the markets in that sense. They seem to be, at least, you know, based on
We'll see.
my very rudimentary experience and watching, right?
Well, Ample is, I
But
think,
what?
like 0.2 to BTC, which is 0 would be uncorrelated, right? So it's, and comparing it like with the chart that if you go to ampleforce.com, you can actually, or .io, whatever it is, you can see they have a correlation heat map, and Ample by far is way less correlated than any other crypto to BTC.
But I don't understand why they're using the S&P VIXI like price to predict. Wouldn't they want to use some sort of like
they use
currency?
something. They use the SDR, right, as the peg, and they're going to eventually have an actual stable coin of the SDR, which I'm not sure how they'll incorporate it exactly, but so they use like the rebase model is similar to Ampleforth. They have, it's a bit different though. Like for example, if you're farther away from peg, the rebase will be more dramatic, but they also incorporate the VIX. It's not just based off the VIX. Like if you look at the Ample chart, there's obviously that crazy pump of Ample because it got so far away from peg and everyone was like, okay, positive rebases and jumped in. That probably won't happen with benchmark. So it's a bit different, but to me, it's one of those coins that just makes sense to me. And with the LP, your rewards again aren't rebased, so you're never gonna like get those negative rebases. So it's kind of like for my style of investing, it's almost like the perfect LP. Now you do get some sort of impermanent loss, but you do hedge your risk having that USDC pair.
I see. Yeah. When you say that the rewards are not rebased, that means they're locked in contract waiting for you to claim. And then after you claim them, then they will be included in the rebases.
Yes,
correct?
so you have to time it because the rebase happens after the stock market closes at like 4:30, between 4:30 and 9. So if you were to claim them right during that period, you wouldn't be playing it right, but you can claim it when it's not rebasing and avoid, or when you do that, you should claim it when it's in a positive rebase territory.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. I see. Like you can claim it when it's in above peg, right? You want to, so that you don't actually lose tokens.
Yep.
I see.
And they just added BSC recently too, so it might be coming over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like they're on like a Polygon, BSC, XDAI. They're really trying for cross chains. So maybe I'll move over to BSC.
Get everywhere.
So
yeah. I think that's interesting. It's currently only on Ethereum, right? But they're trying to migrate, or not migrate, expand, right?
I think they've actually done it, but I don't think there's any liquidity over there. Like I think there's actually a BSC version, or you can bridge it, but there's no liquidity, so you wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, I get it. You'd have to wait until like some whales support it, right?
Yeah, or it's incentivized or something.
It's interesting. I at first, when I first started looking at the rebasing tokens, I was just like, this is crazy, you know, like, and then you do see like, you know, tweets about like they all go to zero, right? And they do go to zero because people don't utilize the functions that keep them healthy, right? Like Ampleforth is different than, you know, the basis token. Do you know how it works?
I've never looked into it. There's too many clone like rebase tokens.
Okay, well, it's quite different than Ampleforth. Like Ampleforth takes and gives, right? But these ones, they don't take. They never take. They just give. So they only mint more tokens and give it to people when it's above peg. But when it goes below peg, they sell what are called bonds. And you buy the bond at the current price peg. And then when it goes above peg, it sells at a premium. So like, let's say you bought it at 60 cents and the token returns to $1, you can sell the bonds for $1, 10 cents, something like that. Now, those numbers are not accurately perfect, but you get the point, right? And the reason why Basis failed, in my understanding, in my opinion, was those bonds had a 2-week window to cash. So people did not buy the bonds.
Oh,
they were
wow.
like, what happens in 2 weeks when I can't cash them in?
Yeah.
So there's another protocol that I really like. It's called BDO. I have several videos on it if you want to
I'll
take
check
your
them out.
time to watch them. It's BDO. I have several videos on it. You can just look for the one that has 50 million APY or something like that. There's a green. Anyhow, so I explain how it works there. But in essence, they fixed this problem by saying, bonds never expire. So people actually hold the bonds, hoping that the peg will keep going up. And then when it goes to like $30, like 1.3, then the bonds just start getting dumped, right? And people just selling the tokens, right? And it brings it back down. And it's actually functioned quite well. I'm very happy with it. I obviously wish, in hindsight, I had aped more into it, but you can't do that, right?
So it's kind of like the
And,
users control a rebase.
Exactly. Well, the rebase is the amount rebased is not really controlled by the users, but because when they buy the bonds, then they're burning the token, right? So the users control the propping back up of the peg, but the protocol itself decides how much to mint. And I can't remember the percent. I think it's only 3% each epoch, but each epoch is 8 hours because it's on Binance Smart Chain and there's no gas worries. So they can just pump them out. They don't have to worry about how much it's going to cost so much for all the people, right? But yeah, it functions quite well. I'm enjoying it. I think it's pretty good, and it's given me a different look on the whole algorithmic stablecoins. When they first came out, I was just like, oh, this is crazy, this is asking for trouble, and I didn't understand them very well. And then I started hearing all these ones going to zero, not working. So I kind of shunned it, right?
Right.
But, I think it's, even, I don't know how Frax works. I haven't looked into it. But
I actually really like Frax.
And I've heard this one is also functioning quite well.
It uses collateralization and their algorithm, but for trading it, how Frax is the FXS token, the Frax shares?
No, I have no idea. All I know is the name Frax.
Okay.
I haven't looked into it. Yeah.
They have some good yield over there. I'm a fan of Frax. I like how it works.
I should probably look into it too. But to be honest, I haven't really looked too much into projects on Ethereum. I do kind of, still look at stuff and, do videos. Like the other day I did MStable because I feel they've been around for a long time and
they're solid.
And I didn't know what made them different. I'm like, well, what's the difference between MUSD and GUSD? Why, USDC, why are they different? So I decided to look, and I liked what I saw. It's interesting, so I make a video about it, right? I got intrigued and decided to look deep, right? Because it was interesting. So I should probably, look at Frax, but at the same time, I don't think I will participate in it because I don't have enough money to pay for the gas on ETH. You know what I mean? When I can just do my kind of algorithmic stablecoin degen stuff on Binance Smart Chain. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like, the apples are apples, and if I can get them, delivered much cheaper, then I'll use the cheaper delivery service, right?
Yep.
So,
Are you on a Avalanche or Polygon or anything, or?
no, the only blockchains I've done anything with is I'll go from the most to the least. And that is, like, I'm not going to include Cardano because there's nothing to do there, right? But Binance Smart Chain I use the most. Like, of course, ETH is, not included in this either, right? So Binance Smart Chain is the most. I use Terra every day. I set up my wallet for FTM, Phantom, and I did buy some tokens, and I do plan on doing another video very soon on using some features in there, but there's nothing there yet. I looked at Solana. I made the wallet, and I also made the wallet for XDAI. But again, I haven't seen anything on XDAI. I got an email the other day like, hey, come claim this airdrop. And I claimed it. It was just like an NFT or something. I don't know what it was, but it's just like, oh, thanks for the badge. Right?
Are you, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And that's it. Oh, and ZK Sync, of course, too. Like, Gitcoin, right?
Which coin?
Gitcoin. You don't know Gitcoin grants?
I have a Gitcoin grant.
Yeah. Well, people can pay you with ZK Sync, right? They can use ZK Sync, which is a layer 2 use case where they can pay a lot less gas. And you don't have to set it up. Well, you would have to set it up to claim them, right? But yeah, it's pretty easy. Yeah.
I think mine's set up for just Ethereum. I didn't know. I saw that.
Both.
Oh, they can use both.
You should probably, if you did, like, if you were part of the last Gitcoin grant, you should probably go to ZK Sync, like when we stop talking, and just connect your wallet. You might have some coins in there.
Oh, okay. Great tip, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Like, I gave most of my grants, the people who I gave grants to, through ZK Sync. And a lot of people will. Because why? Why pay gas? I mean, you don't have to.
Yeah, totally.
But you're matched. When the Gitcoin matches you, that'll come through Ethereum. It comes in a lump sum, right? But it won't go through ZK Sync. So that's just full of tokens people actually sent to you.
Okay. Yeah, great tip. I don't really know anything about Gitcoin. I just made one because it seemed like a good idea.
Well, yeah, it's leaving money on the table otherwise, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, people were telling me to set up an address, and I was like, all right, I'll do it.
I think it's fabulous. Like, it's the way donations should be set up, in my opinion. Now, it could be maybe tweaked to be a little bit better than it is, right? Little features here and there. But the whole idea of large organizations donate their money to the Gitcoin, right? Now, they're usually protocols, Badger, Yearn, all these people, they send a whole bunch of money there, right? And that money is held in escrow and then given to us, based on when other people give us money. So if someone gives us $1, then the escrow will match that dollar with a certain amount. It's what's it called? A growing number. I can't remember the term for it. It's right, again, on the tip of the tongue. Like, if the first one is 1 to 1, $1, and then the second was 1 and 2, and then 1 and 4, kind of like this, right? So those large protocols, like, Badger, they don't have time to say, oh, you're worth this much, you're worth that much, they just say, oh, here, Gitcoin, here's a big chunk of money. Let the people decide who should get how much of my money. So people vote for you by giving you $1 or $2 or $5 or $20 or whatever they want, right? So they're voting for you to get a piece of the huge pie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's way better than like, oh, like they don't have to do much research. The organization doesn't have to have a department like, hey, let's scope out who's doing well. It just, whoever, let the people vote, like we think this person, this person's contribution or the production that they produce, it's not just YouTube, right, is worth, money. So they get a piece of the big donation. And I think that's the way, it's great. It's like, it's good for everyone,
Yeah, that's a good system. Thanks for explaining it. I didn't really know much about it.
The only problem with it is that it comes in seasons. So like the other day, someone asked me, hey, what's your Gitcoin? They wanted to give me a donation. And like, what's your Gitcoin grant page, right? And I told them, well, the season is closed right now. So you couldn't send me, you can still send me, but it won't be matched. And they're like, oh, really? And then I'm like, yeah, so take that into consideration, maybe wait or don't wait. It's your choice, right? But you know what I mean? So it's not an ongoing thing. It's that they don't match forever. It's, I think it's twice a year or something. I haven't actually done my due diligence on when the seasons happen and how often, but I think it's twice a year, maybe.
So there's there's matching seasons for the grant. Okay.
Yeah.
Had no idea about any of this.
Yeah, I think it's useful. It's important because I don't know. Like, are you monetized on your YouTube channel?
No, not yet.
Yeah, it's moot. Like unless you're like.
Are you monetized yet?
Yeah, I am, but it's it's. I don't even consider it like. It's like It's like when you have like you have a protocol, you have like some rewards invested in there waiting to be claimed, but it's like $1.50, $1.50 worth of like, I don't know, I'll just make any random token, like value DeFi token. I got like $1.50 to claim on Ethereum. What am I going to do with this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to stay there forever, right? So it's kind of the same with like, like I don't really consider the YouTube channel as a job or as a form of income. It's like, if Google's going to give me a few pennies here or there, then that's great, awesome.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's why, maybe, I do know that YouTubers are making tons of money. There are some, and, they have 1 million followers, and they take advantage of all the little features like.
Well, it's a business for them.
Yeah, the live chats where people can donate, the membership join thing. They have all these like features that you can take advantage of, but I don't know. Like I think, like if I were talking about Tesla stock every day, then maybe, I would be a lot more lucrative than me just talking about, protocols, right?
Right.
So I don't really consider it a business in that sense. I do it mostly for, like I said at the beginning, because I want to know about the things that I'm considering investing in or that I just simply find interesting. Like, this rebasing token stuff you talk about, this is interesting to me. So whether I buy Mark token or participate in these Mark LPs or not, I do think it's interesting that, someone used their logic to figure this out and make this idea, and then let's test it in production, right? And see what happens. I think this is interesting.
Yeah, the reason I first got interested with Mark, but I do see what you're saying. I'm kind of the same way, where a lot of this stuff is just like, it's a hobby of mine to just read about. But with Benchmark, I just randomly found them one day. I'm sure you do the same thing on CoinGecko or someone shills it or whatever. And I went through their team, and with crypto, all the teams are developers or programmers, people like that. But the team is actually all like finance people. Like the founder he's a vice president at Citibank. So it was just that was like very interesting to me, because you don't really see that too often. But yeah, I do
that
see
background.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, the background. Yeah. I get your point. I heard this actually. I didn't know it was this token. I heard that the guy from Citibank had started an algorithmic stablecoin or stablecoin protocol or something. So yeah, this is interesting. I think I should spend some time on it in the next future if I can find some time to do so. The main thing for me is that like I don't have a whole lot of stablecoins on Ethereum, and I have all these ETH positions just like locked, and I don't want to pull out because it's just gas. Gas is gonna kill me. I kind of like during the DeFi summer, I kind of spreaded my positions around quite a bit. And I've got all these rewards all over the place that are just not economically viable to claim. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, I have a very similar situation. For a while, it was a dumb idea, but I'm like pretty paranoid about security, and I actually doxed myself, my channel, yesterday. Actually, I like revealed my personal email, which was a big oops moment. But
It's all good, but yeah.
I was using like different wallets because I was like, oh, what if this one's get hacked? I can have this wallet at least. But I ended up kind of abandoning that and like moving all my funds around. It's just a big waste of gas, really.
Yeah. Like I have like it's really sad too. Like Ethereum should not be like this, and I think everyone would agree that Ethereum, even like Vitalik himself, would probably agree that this problem I have should not be the case. Like I have around maybe 400 or maybe $600. I can't remember. I have to check again. Worth of Badger waiting to be claimed. $600. And I constantly sit there and look at it and go, should I claim that? Should I? Should I pay $70? Because if after I claim it, I got to do something with it, right? Whether it be swap, whether it be stick it in one of their vault sets, their sets. I got to do something with those tokens after I claim them, right? I'm not just going to claim them. Why claim them is leave them in my wallet when I can leave them in the contract, right? So it's going to cost me about $200 to do what I need to do with that 600 or 400 or whatever it is right now. That's a problem. You know what I mean? That's not good. If it was $40, $40 worth of Badger, then it's not a problem. But, hundreds of dollars, that's a problem. That's something I think is terrible. Like people cannot use, like I remember when I first came to Ethereum and people were saying, there's no point doing anything on Ethereum unless you have $1,000 worth of something, right? And now it's even worse, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, they're fixing it. They're working on it, and it will get better. And, if I leave that Badger there and I don't pull it out, then I will eventually be able to claim it again, probably, I assume, for maybe $10, $5 in the future, right? Maybe. We'll see, right? But I'm missing out on all the APY from pulling it out and sticking it into the vault or the set or the LP or whatever. I can't, right? So there's constant this question, and it's too bad, right?
Yeah, I've kind of noticed with DeFi that the whole irony of it, like it's okay, we can make our collateral more efficient, but at the same time we're paying hundreds just to transfer it. It's kind of contradicts itself, but yeah, man. Kind of want to wrap this up now. I gotta use the bathroom. Been sitting here for a long time. I appreciate you coming on, man. I'd love to talk to you again sometime in the future.
Yeah, it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. We should keep in touch and talk again when we have new things to discuss. But yeah, I appreciate it. Send me links or send me a link of this video and I'll tweet it out as well.
Sure, will do.
All right, and that's it.
Okay.
Bye to everyone. Thanks for talking.
See you, Ceazor. Thanks.
Thanks, Max.
Okay, guys. Let me know if you're still on the stream. I just ended the call with Ceazor. I guess right now I'm just gonna ask anyone in the chat for some feedback because this is kind of a test on how that went. Like, was the quality okay? It was pretty easy for me to live stream off Telegram to this, and I'm actually going to record the podcast portion and upload it to my second channel, which I'm gonna make. But yeah, I'm just gonna kind of wrap this up. I guess I can go over a few more things to stream. I've been streaming for over 2 hours now, but feel free to leave me some feedback in the chat on things you guys didn't like about the podcast or things you did like. I thought it went well. Um, and Ceazor, he's a he's a cool guy in crypto. I'm glad I follow him. He has the right intentions, so I think he's a good person to pay attention to, especially if you're interested in the Binance Smart Chain, yield farming, and whatnot. Definitely follow Ceazor. But yeah, that's just kind of wrapping it up. And yeah, guys, thanks again for tuning in. As always, drop a like on this if you can. And yeah. Okay, I kind of just did that outro for the video I'll upload later. But I don't really know what to go over now at this point. Now that the stream is over, let me just make sure. Okay, I see. It's done. All right, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you guys later. Brent. Okay, we got one more comment. Yeah, I'll stay on for a bit longer if you guys have comments or want to talk more. But thanks, Brent. Very informative. Yeah, he's a good person to follow, and I find that he's not a podcast guy, but I listen to a lot of podcasts, not just crypto ones, just different people. I like them a lot. So yeah, I'm gonna head off actually. Thanks again, guys.